Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another episode of the Dadbod to Daddy training vlog, and today was back in biceps day. So it's really good. We're going to focus on biceps mostly because my back is arguably my best body part, back and calves, and I feel like because I'm doing a heavy deadlift rep work again on my posterior chain day, that quite frankly, my lats are going to grow just from 3 sets of pull-ups. Like with those two added together for me, my back will probably continue to grow as long as I push the pull-ups hard. So I don't need a lot of volume here. So what I'm doing is picking my best lat exercise. The wide grip weighted pull-up like this does more for my lats than anything else, and then I'm just going to double down on bicep training. So biceps are going to be a high priority, and we're going to push them hard, everything to failure. We're going to do some rest pause, kind of like I did at the end. But for the pull-ups, it's the same thing. I did 2 sets to failure, then I did rest pause. I managed to get the same reps again, which is just 5. With this wide grip pull-up, it's hard to move a lot of weight, particularly when you're strict, because notice I'm coming to a pause at the bottom. Right, we're pausing on every rep, no stretch reflex. This is hard. So because of that, again, I can't get many reps. So I did a rest pause, and I think I managed to squeeze out 2 more reps here, and that's all I had. Lats were lit up, right? Lats were lit up. And again, they'll continue to grow. And my response to anyone, I get occasionally someone doesn't like how I do pull-ups. I'm like, look at my back. Okay. I think they work pretty well. All right, so then for barbell curls, what I've started doing here, I'm going to do barbell curls the way that I know I feel the most bicep instead of what looks good for the camera. So that closer grip, that narrow grip, I feel like it does make me look a little more jacked and everything with the camera at the front. But at this point, if I keep getting leaner, tighten this midsection up, we're down to 205 today, by the way. As that gets tighter, and I lose more and more body fat, I don't think I'm going to need to worry about that. I'm not going to care. I do feel a little more bicep, all right, particularly that whole inner head when I do the wider grip, and I'm also a hair weaker. Like I lose a rep or 2 with the same weight, but again, very effective for me doing these strict Unum controlled. And I was only able to get 10 reps with this one time. Sometimes I get 12 reps with this weight with that real close grip, okay? But with this, yeah. But again, feel a ton of bicep. And so what do we do here? We go through the full range of motion, right? We lock all the way out at the bottom, and we bring it all the way up, and we do have that little bit of that shoulder flexion happening there. Notice it's about 30 degrees, right? Because that is a function of the bicep. And beyond 30 degrees, it's not bicep, it's all muscles in your shoulder. But the idea here of what we want to do is to work that full function of the biceps. So we want to make sure that everything gets worked. And again, with these sets being to failure, biceps felt pretty dang lit up. But again, everyone's noticing, yeah, the volume is more moderated. I'm really only focused on 6 main work sets of lift or per muscle group. But again, we're going to have a lot of failure sets. We're going to have rest pause and stuff in here. So even today, I did 2 sets of rest pause. So we're gonna see that most of my workouts will probably have something that gets rest pause. Okay, not all of them, but I think most of them. If I do it on the posterior chain day, it'll have to be the deadlifts though, which is always fun. But earlier this week it was on skull crushers, right? Then we did it on some of the shoulder stuff. Right, like the rear delt flies. Why? Because things like my rear delts could use the extra work. So biceps, though, that's a great spot. Great place to do them. But again, I don't know that we need to do more than about 1 set for an exercise or even per muscle group because, again, it can beat you up really quickly. But again, feeling really good with this style of training as I'm cutting. I do know this style of training for myself and definitely other people, it tends to make you, again, very dense, very hard. So as I get leaner, I think we're going to see more and more of that come out. And I do feel like I look a little flatter today, but that's okay. As the water shifts around, I feel like in another week or so, things are going to start to look a little bit tighter, and we're going to see that improving. But definitely the scale is coming down with the lower carbs, and again, eventually it will it will tighten everything up, as I know historically. So we just keep working on it. But the incline curls, so what's the idea here? One of the best stretch reflex movements. I've always been a fan of these. I have been for decades. Like even in my early YouTube days, I used to say, if you want good biceps, this is a great, proven, old school method. Like Steve Reeves, Bill Pearl, those guys loved these, right? And Bill Pearl was known for his arms back in the day. Okay. Phenomenal exercise, and even some of the modern research is kind of pointing out, yeah, it's actually pretty dang good exercise in some hypertrophy studies. So again, we like to do it. Now this last one, instead of dropping it for rest pause, because it's kind of, I've got to stand back up and re-get into position to get in there. What I did when I reached failure, which I reached failure about the same reps every set, I rested a few seconds at the bottom and then tried to squeeze out one more. Did that a couple times. Again, the burn on the biceps was pretty intense. I'd like to be able to go a little heavier on these, but I want to get a little stronger at them. It's one of those where it's like I'd like to put a little more weight on there, right? I'd like to put a little more weight, but again, got to make sure we can handle it, right? Because I feel like if I start adding even small microplates to this, my reps are going to drop down to like 5. So we'll just keep kind of working with this weight a little bit and then maybe micro load it up, but treat it like a serious lift. And then I finished up with the standing wrist curls because why? Forearms and grip. Even though my training is in some ways kind of minimalist, it really isn't. It's moderately low volume because my workouts are 30, 45 minutes. We don't do a ton of sets. They're all hard sets. But I'm literally training forearms, calves, and neck. That's definitely not minimalist training. We're isolating all those muscles. But the wrist curls, we went up 20 pounds. I got the same reps. I'm going to just progressively overload these. Okay, I got about 12, 13 reps on each set, and that's all I could get. Those reached failure to where it's like, try to get another rep, and it just stops. Wrist curls. Builds grip, builds forearms. And again, just like everything else, we can progressively overload this lift. You can get pretty strong at it. I'd like to get these up to 225, right, for work sets, but it's going to take a little while to work up to doing that. But I feel like my forearms will be definitely more jacked if I do that, and it'll probably help my grip overall. Although Louis Simmons used to disagree. He used to say wrist curls don't do anything for your grip. Love Louis. Love Louis. Rest in peace, bro. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.